What's poppin', YouTube? It's your boy, John J100 Pennymon, aka Welcome Back, Carter. Okay, that was really corny. Alright, so before I talk to you guys about what I want to talk to you guys about, I have a little bit of house cleaning. For those that don't know, my podcast,
The Pennymon Doctrine Podcast,
has been on hiatus for 9 months. 9 fucking months. I'm working on starting a podcast back up, which should be happening shortly. In the meantime, I have been doing some work. You can catch me every Sunday on the Sky Shot Radio podcast. Shout out to my man Murray Riley Jr. I've also been on Onyx Truth Live podcast. Shout out to my man Gil Lowry. And I've also been on the Rogue Gallery Radio podcast.
What up, HT?
I've also been writing again, so check out the blog, thepennymondoctrine.blogspot.com. Speaking of the blog, for those of you that are coming at me because you think I'm calling my daughter a bitch, I got 3 things for you. Number 1, you might want to step up your reading comprehension. Number 2, you might want to read some more ironic creative writing. Number 3, just stop being a hater and twisting my words. If you really want to know what I'm saying, all you got to do is read it. So when you see I got new content, read it, like it, share it, or watch it, like it, share it, or hate it and share it. I don't give a shit, just share it. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down there too. Now for the topic at hand, and in all seriousness, for this part at least. A friend of mine on Facebook had shared an article about the former Oklahoma cop that shot his daughter's boyfriend because he was black. That whole thing pissed me off for a whole bunch of reasons. It kind of made me happy too, on like a not related but kind of related note. I had writer's block and this broke me out of it. But the piece that I was writing was getting kind of long, so I figured I'd make a video about it instead. So this fucking guy, a judge declared a 3rd mistrial. 3rd. I don't even know how the fuck that can happen. Like, clearly somebody died. Clearly he needs to be charged with something. Y'all motherfuckers need to figure it out. I'm just saying. So, I was saying before that this situation just pisses me off. I'm pissed off at the judicial system. I'm pissed off at that jury. I'm pissed off on that man's logic. I'm just pissed off at everything. But let's go back to that man's logic real quick. You drop your 18-year-old daughter at a homeless shelter because she didn't obey you. She meets a guy who actually treats her like a human being, and you shoot him because now your daughter's a mud shark. I don't really know how they do things in Oklahoma, but where I'm from, if you disobey your parents, you get grounded and sent to your room. I mean, I've just never heard someone being sent to a homeless shelter for being disobedient. Where the fuck they do that at? Oh, Oklahoma. The funny part about it all is if you hadn't have done the shit that nobody else does and sent your daughter to a homeless shelter for disobeying you, she would have never met the dude, which means that you wouldn't have had to have some weird racist sense of pride in your daughter's vagina, and you wouldn't be on trial for killing this little nigga in the first place. So the person that dude probably should have killed was his goddamn self. A homeless shelter. A homeless shelter? For real? A homeless shelter. Yeah, a homeless shelter. Disobey me again. I just play it. And the thing that's probably the most messed up about the whole thing is I probably could have been Jeremy Leaks. So the point that I want to make with all this is what I normally do when there's complex things that go on. I kind of want to relate it to something that I've been through or that other people have been through to kind of make the point about how fucked up all this is, if you didn't already know. I mean, homeless shelter though? Homeless shelter. Who the fuck does that? I told you. I just play. Alright, so when I was a youngin', my mom left my father and we ended up moving to the west side of Cleveland. And the west side of Cleveland is kind of seen as like the white side of Cleveland. Even though there is an east side suburb, the east side is internationally known as the hood. What? Never heard of Bone Thugs before? East 99 in St. Clair? Fam, you think I'm just stereotyping people? I'm better than that. The main reason why parents make a move like this is to give themselves and their children more opportunities and live in a better environment. And I completely understand why they would want to do that, because usually that's what happens when you make that sort of move. The problem with that move is that you take your kids out of one environment and give them opportunities, but then you put them in another battle that they have to fight, and they're usually fighting it without you. When my mom and my stepdad got serious and they got married, we moved to a city called Middleburg Heights, Ohio. Now, there's nothing wrong with Middleburg Heights, Ohio. I'm not trashing Middleburg Heights, Ohio. I'm not slamming Middleburg Heights, Ohio. But it's pretty fucking white. During my time growing up there, I'm taking a guess, but I would say that we were one of maybe in total, I'm gonna be generous and say 15 to 20 black families. That's about it. I'm completely grateful for the environment and the opportunities that my parents provided for me. I made friends. I was pretty well liked by my peers. I was held in high regards from adults. So it wasn't really like super bad. But there's just these little things that you kind of figure out. So before I figured that out, when I was in 8th grade, I was the most popular fucking kid at school. The man. Like Drake. No. I was like a black Justin Bieber. No. I was like, I'm like a corny Quavo. No. I'm like a skinny Dwayne Johnson. Why do you think you're a comedian? You're not that funny, John. You just stop. So this was around like 8th grade or whatever. And to be honest with you, I really didn't even get into girls until like 7th grade or something like that. It wasn't until my stepdad finally built his PC that he took forever to build. We had the internet. What's the other thing that got me into girls? Oh yeah, porn. To top it all off, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness family too. So my ability to travel was limited. A lot of the things I was able to do was limited. A lot of the people I was allowed to hang out with was limited. So it was limited. But even through that though, I was the leading role in all the plays in middle school. I was probably hands down the greatest talent show MC Ford Middle School has ever seen. Like ever. I was so popular that I even asked to have my locker moved because these 6th and 7th graders would just be on my dick all the time. Like, oh my God, it's John. And like, it's cool. But like after a while, fam, like a nigga just want to go to the cafeteria. Like, can a nigga eat? Can I eat? You would figure that being so popular that I would get all the ladies, right? Just be a ladies' man. Wrong. That was not the case. Don't get me wrong though, like I did okay, but I didn't really do okay. The girls were cool. We would flirt. It would be cool. They're nice. You know, we hang out. We have fun. But it seemed like they were just hesitant. When it came to the other guys, I've heard stories. Now, this is the part where I want to be crystal clear. And for those Umar Johnson types out there that never want to ever leave the hood, fine. That's fine. That's fine. But I just want you to know, sir, fam, that not everybody is stuck in the hood. Some parents got their kids out, like mine. So, when it came to girls, I didn't see anything but white girls and maybe a Mexican girl, maybe a Puerto Rican, not really. So what am I supposed to do? Just be celibate and just not try with girls because I don't have my black queens around me? That's illogical as fuck. And then on top of that, the 2 black girls that did go to my school, I wasn't really attracted to. So what am I really supposed to do then? Force myself to be with a girl that I'm not attracted to and I don't like, just so you can live out your black nationalist / black supremacist fantasy? Get the fuck out of my face, nigga. Just to be 100% clear, since I got a lot of haters and shit that don't want to listen to what the fuck I'm saying, I love all women. I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, this is why John only likes white women, because that's not true. Are we clear? For real though, are we clear? I don't want to see no shit in the fucking comments. Just because I don't exclusively date or fuck black women doesn't mean I don't like them. Because real talk, they don't like me. That's just real truth. Black women don't like me. Or at least the ones I meet at the time I meet them, I don't know. I don't disregard them, but they are not checking for me at all in my vicinity. And quiet as a cat, what the fuck does that mean? No other girls are checking for me either right now. When it came high school time to pick which high school I wanted to go to, I kind of fucked up my whole life. I lived in the part of Middleburg Heights where I was able to choose which high school I wanted to go to. There was the diverse rival high school to the city that I was in that my sister actually went to, so it would have been like a legacy. And it would have been fun from stories I've been told. And I probably wouldn't have had this girl problem that I'm trying to explain to you. Or there was the uptight, white, boring school, which I ended up going to. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. It was a very logical reason why I fucked my whole life up. Very logical. The first reason was because I was already the most popular kid in school. One of them, right? So naturally, I'm going to have my popularity just transplant into another building. As I'm kind of gauging around where everybody's going, the people that I was pretty popular with, they seem to be going to Mid-Park. So naturally, that would be a good decision to make. The second reason why I fucked my whole life up is because I was in the plays, and because I was the leading role in the plays, like check this kind of side story out. When I was in 6th grade and I actually auditioned to do the play, I was such a good audition that the program director ended up changing completely the play that he was gonna do. Instead of whatever the fuck boring thing he was gonna do, he decided to do The Outsiders. And I was cast as Johnny Cake. Now, if you know anything about The Outsiders, you know that Johnny Cake died. I swear for God that every single performance I ever actually did for like a real audience, I made at least one person cry. I was getting offers and requests to be in actual plays, in actual theaters. My mom wasn't gonna let that happen though. Limited. So I put my heart and soul into the plays I was able to do. Getting back to the second reason. The program director for Mid-Park seemingly was like recruiting me. He had a nigga feeling like the LeBron James of theater. I didn't even get like a stage manager position, nothing. His response to me was, well, I didn't think you were actually gonna come to Mid-Park. What? What the fuck does that even mean? Obviously, I was at Mid-Park and I felt played and betrayed. That right there is when I figured it out. Once I got to high school, I wasn't the most popular kid anymore. I would get some people from time to time coming to my locker treating me like a celebrity, but nowhere remotely close to where it was before. On top of that, I started noticing that I became the black kid. Now, this threw me off because I was able to be myself and who I wanted to be all this time up until I got to high school. So in one part of the school, I was too black. On the other part of the school, I wasn't black enough. Me personally, I don't give a shit what people think, so I was just doing what I was doing and was trying to be me. But somewhere along the way, things kind of just fell apart socially. So when it came to girls, this sounds so terrible to say, but I really just had to get lucky and hope that the girl that I was talking to had daddy issues. As terrible as it is to say, really that was the only way that I was getting play. If someone was secure in their social pocket or sector or whatever the fuck you want to call it, I wasn't gonna date that chick. Think about it. You work hard to build your reputation and build your image, and you know for a fact that the guys you hang around are fucking racist or prejudiced or whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever word you want to call it. When that guy likes you, your response is to do not a fucking thing, not tell him nothing, not respond, not know shit. This is part of the reason why today I have no game. And what I mean by I have no game is like I'll go to the bar and be like, hey, how you doing? My name is John. They're like, no, nigga, no. Your friend cute though. I've never had real positive responses. So my game is to just be myself and hopefully somebody actually has some balls and flirts or, you know, at least throws it out there a little bit. You know, sometimes I shoot my shot to see what I can do, but whatever. This isn't a pity party John thing. I really don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to date anyway. I'm just saying I have no game. The times that I did have girlfriends or fuck buddies or whatever you want to call it, I've had to do everything under the sun to not get them in trouble. I've hid under dirty clothes. I've jumped out of a window and by a couple stories and fell in the snow. I've had to lie. I'm super great at talking to parents. Well, how you doing today, Mr. Smith? This is a beautiful home you have. Wow. And I like the car you got in the garage too. Is that a 67? Did you build that yourself? Eat it up every fucking time. I've heard, don't ever bring that black guy in my house again. He's one of the good ones, but he's still black. No, just, what were you thinking? I've seen people at school treat people differently to the point where they treat me differently and, you know, they get back in their social circle. The works. I've had a lot of shit happen to me. This isn't a pity party. I'm just saying that in order for me to get where I wanted to be in high school with girls, I could have been Jeremy Lake. There's been times where I was afraid for my life, but never a situation like that. And so as that article pointed out about all the historical references like Emmett Till and things such as that, I'm not trying to say that I'm like a historical figure or anything like that, but I definitely can relate to what Jeremy Lake went through. I didn't get shot, and I'm alive, and I'm making a YouTube video. But you get my point. So at the end of the day, if you're trying to be a better society and all that kind of stuff like that, we really have to be mindful of the people around us. And Umar, hi buddy. Not everybody's stuck in the hood like you. I'm sorry, I grew up in the suburbs. There was nothing I could do about it. all my surroundings was white girls and maybe a couple Latina, maybe a black girl, but she was not cute at all. I'm sorry. She was just ugly. I don't really blame the people in my class, but at the end of the day, y'all are fucked up. Like, you were good kids. Like, so good, in fact, that when I hear Berea stories, I'm like, why the fuck did I stay there so long? I'm the type of guy that when I make a decision, I like to stick to it because I want to make the best out of the situation. But that was not the best out of the situation. I should have fucking went to Berea as soon as that nigga didn't give me to play. And I'm not saying that you guys are bad. I'm just saying that you guys made some fucked up decisions when we were in high school. And I don't hold it against you. I'm just saying it was fucked up. And it's funny that now that like we're 30 and we see each other at bars and stuff like that, like, you tell me shit now. Why didn't you tell me that shit 15 years ago, fam? That would have been nice. That would have been nice to know that you had a crush on me because we could have so been a good couple. Or we so could have been friends. Or I could have dealt with your parents or whatever it is. All I'm saying at the end of the day is be mindful. And now that your kids are getting of age when they're in school, don't let them be like you. Because you guys were kind of shitty. Like, really shitty. I'm not holding it against you. It's weird. I don't know. I don't really know. Because I don't really care. That's what it is. But y'all were really shitty. Like, shitty. I'm going to bid you guys adieu. Podcast coming soon. Thanks for listening to my story. And I figure if Rush Limbaugh can make $20+ million a year telling you bullshit, I can at least get a subscribe.